Do you see value in the other layer twos like Lightning, for example, Fediment? What do you see besides stacks?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I see value in Lightning. I think Lightning is about monetary velocity, right? Lightning is about enabling you to spend your Bitcoin for coffee, for micro payments. And that's important because that plays a role in the medium of exchange function. But the medium of exchange function is limited relative to the store of value and global base layer equity money. So, a medium of exchange might be a few trillion, but base layer equity is probably close to a quadrillion with the amount of money that's been printed thus far. So you're talking about a multiple of 100x relative. And yeah, Lightning is valuable because it's there to increase monetary velocity. That's a solution to a problem. Stacks can solve that solution as well, but what's more important is that it offers smart contract capability in a decentralized way. And I do think that you're right. The free market is going to decide, and that's why People's Reserve is a centralized company. We believe that not everybody in the world wants to exist in a world where computers decide everything and everything is decentralized and you never interact with another human being. If you want to borrow against your Bitcoin, come into my building, shake my hand, look me in the eye. I want to know who you are. I'm lending you money and you're borrowing money from me. Let's develop a relationship. I think there's still going to be, we're not going into this like technocracy where humans won't interact anymore. And some humans will prefer those decentralized, no interaction solutions. And sometimes those solutions will be more efficient. But the market is so large. We're talking about multi-$100 trillion marketplace. Look at all the central banks in the world. Not even one central bank can handle it all, right? There's so many different branches there's the Bank of International Settlement, the International Monetary Fund. Each country has a central bank, and then branches of those central banks within the country. There's so much volume in base layer money that no one company, no one solution is going to be able to handle it. So we just need to make sure that those solutions are built and ran by true OG Bitcoiners who understand that Bitcoin is money, and the things that are being built are not being built to compete with it, but to complement it.
It's fascinating for me also to see that Bitcoiners, and Bitcoin is a digital money, that Bitcoiners are so down to earth, so nature loving, so they want the connection with human beings. It's kind of the fiat world is that like, oh, I'm isolating myself. I want to be in this screen world, and I want to be only. It's the Bitcoiners are those who buys the farm and lives somewhere on the suburbs. So that's fascinating for me to see. And this, I think the podcast, when you go back and see the interviews, you see a lot of those personalities in there. For the end of the podcast. Well,
when you think about it, I'm sorry. I just want to interject one thing because that's so important what you said about, very few Bitcoiners that I've met are closed. They're very open. They're very honest. They love justice. They love truth. And if you think about it, we move into a future and we're on a Bitcoin standard. And let's say a farmer has to come to your company and wants to borrow against their corn or borrow against maybe even their Bitcoin treasury. Well, what happens if the liquidation price what if the price goes below their liquidation mark? Are you just going to be a decentralized app and just boop, you're liquidated? Too bad. Everything that you worked for your whole life is gone. Or would you rather have a relationship with who you're borrowing from, who you're banking with, to be able to call up and say, hey, listen, I can't post this margin today, but in 2 months, my crop is going to be sold and I have contracts. So I know I'll be able to post that margin. Will you work with me? And, it creates a relationship besides just a 0 and a 1, right? The decentralized network is a 0 and a 1, and there's nothing wrong with it. And a lot of times it's going to be more efficient, but there are going to be important things in our society like farmers and engineering and town building and citadel building where if things don't go as planned, you want to be able to shake a hand with somebody. You want to be able to have some type of solution besides the 0 and the 1. And who better to work with than fellow Bitcoiners?